Hi, second graders. This is week 2. Welcome back. I want to say hi to Marche, and hi Braylon, and hi DeCarlo, and hi Jasmine, hi Flowerbell, hi Harrison, hi Egypt, hi Messiah. I am so happy if you guys are watching this, and I want to say that I miss you all terribly. But until we can get back into 2115 together, this will have to do. I am here just to go through your week 2 packets. And just like before, I am going to go over the directions for each page. I'll do them in order. I'm going to hold them up like this. Okay, so again, we are on week 2, and that is going to be from March 30th through April the 4th. Okay, so that week that we come back from spring break. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but that's the week that this covers. I'm going to hold up every page so you can either follow along with me and pause, listen to the directions, pause, and then do the work. Or if you're doing the work kind of independently, but you just came here for some hints and tips, you can fast forward until you see the page that you need. So just diving right in, this very first page, just like before, it's going to tell you the week that we're working on, some goals for yourself. Make sure you can read those over, a helpful hint, and then some tools to use for your math. Now, we went over in week 1. If you want to go back to the week 1 video, the very beginning of it, we talked about a few other tools that you can use while you do these packets. But that is page 1. The next page is hundreds, tens, and ones. I know you guys are mostly rock stars at this, so it is just asking you, the directions are, determine the value of the underlined digit. And that is a very fancy way to say, tell me what place this is in, and if I have that many, what would be the total value? So let's look at just this example up here. Example, the number is 53, and the underlined digit right there is the 5 in 53. So I know that that 5, does it just mean 5? No, it's in the tens place. I know that means 5 tens. That 5 right there is worth 5 tens, and they wrote it out with words. Okay, right there with words. So you're going to come down and you are going to look at the problem number 1. And for myself and for anybody who wants a little extra hint, I'm going to use my place value markers right now. And I am just going to color a little place value dot above my number to help guide me just on this first one even. So my units are green, and I'm just putting a little green dot right above my units. When we are talking about our stamp game, we use blue for our tens. Okay, and so what color is our hundreds? It's red. And so I've just marked my hundreds, tens, and units places. That's for you guys. You can use this as a reference, or you can mark your own on paper if that helps you out. But then I'm going to determine which of my digits is underlined. So which of those digits in the number 615 is underlined? It's the 6 right here, has a line underneath of it. The 6 is in the hundreds place. So just like we just said when we read that number, the 6 is worth 6 hundreds. And I'm going to write that down. I'm going to follow the example and write the numeral 6 and then words six hundreds. hundreds, okay? And so you can do just that. You don't have to mark the place value. That's just if it helps you. If you want to, you can look at the, just look at the digit that's underlined and write, is that 5 tens, 5 units, 5 ones, and they do use the word ones. You may write ones or units. I know a lot of times we, in Montessori, we say units, and that's fine as well, okay? That means the same thing if you want to say units. Extra bonus, if you guys, some of you will find this really easy, and if you would like to, anybody who would like to challenge themselves, I'm going to challenge you to write the numerical value of the place value that's underlined. So here I wrote with words 6 hundreds. That means 6 individual 100 squares or 6 groups of 100. Absolutely. The numerical value, though, is then 600 written in standard form like this. That's not a U, that's a 0. Let me connect it. 600s, okay? So if you'd like to challenge yourself or add a little bonus work on here, write the word form for the value of the underlined digit, and then also add the numerical value there at the end, written in standard form. For the bottom bonus, they've given you 3 underlines. Write a 3-digit number. So after you finish all of these columns, both of these columns, the bottom box here says write a 3-digit number and determine, figure out, the place value and value of each digit. You get to make up this number. Any 3-digit number you want. You can just throw numbers in there. 5, 7, 9, 6, 3, 2. 0, no, not, don't start with a 0. 1, 0, 6. Okay, it's up to you. You make up the number, but then at the bottom you're going to write, this is hundreds, tens, and units. Whatever you wrote here, you're going to write the value, place value down here. Okay? Extra bonus, you could write that number in expanded form underneath. Remember to use blood signs. Okay, geometry assignment is next. It says the directions are, so you can see there's a bunch of shapes on here. Each shape is in a box with some name choices below. The directions are circle the correct answer for each of the following. What shape is this? Let me look at my choices. Rectangle, circle, triangle. Of those 3, and I will tell you my camera is making this a little oblong here. Maybe your printing will as well. But I know between rectangle, circle, and triangle, I'll let you choose. So choose an answer for each of these shapes at the top, at the bottom. How is a circle different from a rectangle? And I'm going to challenge you to think of more than one way. But that's up to you to write, how is a circle different from a rectangle? On the back of that page, we have counting coins again. Again, the important thing to remember when you are counting coins, pennies are these medium copper ones. They are worth 1 cent. Nickels are the largest coin on your paper, 5 cents. Dimes are the small silver ones on your paper, worth 10 cents. Okay? My advice last time when we were counting was to count the tens first because they're pretty easy to count by tens. Then add your 5s in and count your units last, but you may use any strategy you wish. When we write our answer, we're going to make sure, because this is money, that we label it. If it is 15 cents, that's not the answer. If it's 15 cents, you're going to write 15 and the cent sign, or the entire word cents if you would like to. But we're going to label it with cents over here in the side because we're talking about money. Challenge question at the bottom. How can you make 15 cents with the least amount of coins? You might have to try a couple of methods, but try to use the least amount of coins you can to make 15 cents. Okay, after we have counting change. This says subtraction sentences. I'm so glad that we get to do a little bit of subtraction because that was something that we were going to be doing soon in class. So I'm so glad that they've included it here. Here are the directions. There are 20 bugs in some boxes. How many more boxes do we need so every bug has a box? So the first thing I need to realize is that they're asking me to find the difference between the number of bugs, the total number of bugs, and the number of boxes that I have. So I'm going to count by twos for my bugs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I've got 20 bugs, and I might just write a note there to myself that I have 20 bugs so I can remember that. I'm going to come down here. I think I can count by twos again. Let's check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, one all by himself. 9. 9 boxes. So I'm going to find the difference between 20 and 9. What is the difference between 20 and 9? And so I think that there are a couple of strategies that I could use to find this difference. One is I could just connect my ladybugs to a box. Okay. Connecting all of my ladybugs to a box. Oh, and I've connected all of these ladybugs, and I need to figure out how many ladybugs I have left over because it wants to know how many ladybugs don't have a box. Then I can count them. Okay. Now I know how many ladybugs I have without a box. So what I did was I took my group of 20 ladybugs and I took out the 9. I subtracted the 9 that would be able to fit in a box, right? So let's look down here below. I have in my mind, I saw what I did. And so did I have 20 to start and I took away 4? No, I have 9 boxes. That doesn't make any sense. Did I have 20 to start and I put 10 more on? No, that doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Did I have 20 to start and I took away 9? 20 minus 9? Is that what we did? Yeah, I had 20 groups of ladybugs. I took out all the ones that already had a box. So yeah, 20 minus 9. So I'm going to circle, this direction says circle the equation. So that's the first direction. So that's the right one right there. And then write the answer. Okay, so I'm going to put my answer here in the box. Are there other ways? Yes. If you've made yourself a stamp game at home, maybe you would like to set up the problem 20 minus 9. You would do some exchanging and we would come to the same answer. Maybe you would like to cross out the ladybugs that have a box. Sure. Maybe since you know that there are 20 ladybugs, you know there are 10 in the top row and 10 in the bottom. Maybe you don't need to count. Maybe you would just cross out 9 and have 1 left over here in the bottom row. So a lot of different options for figuring out your subtraction problems. I'm going to let you finish that top one on your own and then do the same thing at the bottom. You have a new group of ladybugs and a new group of boxes. Okay, these two problems are solved the same way. At the very bottom, it wants you to write a new subtraction problem and solve it with a picture. So that's, you get to make that up. I had 500,000 ice creams and I ate 400,000 ice creams. How many ice creams did I have left? I also would have a massive bellyache. That's a lot of ice cream. You may use smaller numbers if you want. After our subtraction problem, the next page in your packet is your ELA, which means English Language Arts. It's our reading and writing practice in our packet. The directions, read the passage, and answer the questions. So, my advice to you is to pause it right now and read to yourself, and then unpause. Miss Camille's going to read it, and you can follow along with your finger. Okay, if you're coming back, Miss Camille is going to read the passage out loud. It says, poetry uses rhyme. Many poems use words that rhyme. Two words rhyme when they have the same ending sound. The words think and pink rhyme. They both end with the ink sound. Poems do not have words that rhyme at the end of their lines. I have to read that sentence to myself again. Poems do not have words that rhyme at the end of their lines. Many of them do, though. Okay, so some don't and some do. Two lines of poetry that rhyme with each other at the end are called a rhyming couplet. I'm going to put that word, that's a new word for me. So I'm going to think couplet sounds like couple, and it means two lines of poetry that rhyme at the end make a couplet. That's this new word right here. And because I'm thinking about it while I'm reading, I might even circle that new word for me, couplet. I'm going to start reading again on the second paragraph. Writing rhyming poetry can be difficult. You need to choose words that rhyme. You also have to choose words that have meaning. Even though some poems are short, you have to think extra long about which words to choose. Here is an example of a short rhyming poem. I'm going to read this poem at the bottom. He was only a bug, but he was the king. She smiled at him when he gave her a ring. He forgot to be careful of one little thing. His queen was a bee, and she could sting. I'm going to read that to myself one more time, and I'm going to circle those rhyming words at the end. He was only a bug, but he was the king. She smiled at him when he gave her a ring. He forgot to be careful of one little thing. His queen was a bee, and she could sting. Awesome. All right, then I'm going to go to the bottom. I've read the poem I've read the passage to myself. I followed along with Miss Camille while she read it, and now I'm ready to think about the questions at the bottom. What does it mean when two words rhyme? I remember reading that in the first paragraph. I'm going to come back up here and try to figure out, what does it mean when two words rhyme? What am I saying if I'm saying these two words rhyme? I'm saying something about those two words and how they go together. So that definition is in the first paragraph, I remember. Number 2, identify two words on this page that rhyme with each other. Well, lucky for us, we just circled some of those in the poem at the bottom, but there are others. There were some examples in the first paragraph, and I bet if you really read closely, you could find some different ones. So I'll let you identify those 2 words that rhyme, any 2 words. 3, why is poetry sometimes hard to write? Remember that second paragraph we read started with writing rhyming poetry can be difficult. And so I bet there's some examples in that second paragraph of what makes it difficult. I'm going to go back there to check for my answer to number 3. Number 4, do all poems have to rhyme? I remember that thing I read in the very first paragraph. I'm going to go find the evidence for this one. Number 5, wow, add 2 more rhyming lines to this poem. So they're asking you to make your own rhyming couplet that would go with a little story about this king and queen bee. So go ahead and take your time. Like they said, you're going to need to choose words that rhyme, choose ones that have the meaning that goes along with it, and think extra about which words that you are choosing. After you've chosen carefully, go ahead and write your 2 lines here. If you need some more space, you can use the bottom of the page. And I would love, love, love if you snap a picture or type it out and send me a message in Schoology this week. I would really like to know how you finish this poem with 2 more lines that rhyme. That would be wonderful. The next page in your packet, we actually, just like last time, we finish up how did I do on this assignment. It says on the last page, circle 1 face. Here are those faces. They're supposed to be back on the last page. So really think about, did you take your time? Did you find evidence? Did you read carefully? And give yourself a thumbs up smiley, a meh, or a boo, I did not do my best, I'm going to do better next time face, okay? But beginning here is your fine arts assignment. Your directions are to, again, draw people using squiggly lines, and it has a Google Drive link that you can follow for some extra directions here. I really think it's a lot to type in if you're looking at this on paper, but if you can access your packet through Schoology or through Clever and click on that link, that's going to give you the best directions. But it does go forward and kind of give you an overview of what you're looking for. Learning outcomes, the proportions of a human body are fairly standard on average. That means our bodies are about equally proportioned. It's not like somebody has a really long neck and somebody else has really tiny legs. For the most part, we're about the same kind of proportion. Asking students to consider these proportions in their art requires them to consider and apply their knowledge of fractions. For example, asking for the body portion to be half the length of the legs. Okay, so you think about, if my legs are 2 feet, then my body portion would be half that 1 foot from just my body portion. So we're thinking about kind of our proportions of our bodies. This requires students to estimate the lengths of arms and legs, the size of the head, and overall size and area of the torso, which is your abdomen, your chest, and your stomach. So here's what your task is. Using any kind of paper, crayons, markers, pencils, use squiggly lines to draw people. Show them moving in various poses, okay? I really think that is kind of a continuation of what we did last week, but now you're trying to think about proportion. If and you can kind of test it on your own body. My head is this long. Your head or your hand is a good one to use. Okay, so my head is about a hand. It's about a hand and maybe a quarter, right? 1 hand and a quarter. I can also measure my arms. Then my arm is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't see. It's about 4 hands down my arm till I'm almost at my hand. So kind of keeping your people in the same proportion. If you draw their head this big, then their arm should be about 4 or so of these same size repeater. So it's just asking you to think about proportions as you draw your people this week, which is kind of fun. Whoops, did I put that down? Here we go. Your music comes next, and it kind of starts on this same page, and but it gives you directions for identifying the next couple of pages. Okay, so you are going to look at these. Look at the names of these instruments: piano, guitar, drums, violin, trumpet, saxophone, trombone, clarinet, flute. So I'm looking at these instruments, looking at their characteristics, and then I'm actually going to hide this page from myself and get this page out here and try to remember which one of these pictures around the outside is drums, which one is a guitar, which one is the piano, which one is the saxophone, and which one is the trumpet. And you're doing some matching work here with instruments. And that, my friends, is the end of your packet for this week. We spent some extra time talking about our math, which is good as we kind of engage our problem-solving centers and we tackle these new problems that we have coming up. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I miss you guys so much, and hopefully we will get to see each other soon. So stay healthy, and until then, enjoy your families, and I'll see you next time.